We're gonna talk about macros. You guys said macros so many times that my head exploded.
Is macros short for macaroni?
No.
We're not. It's lunchtime.
It is. I just ate. You know what? I don't, and my brain just farted, and I don't know.
Is that what the
macro?
smell is?
It is. That's what brain fart smells like. So macro, you're gonna have to come closer to me so you don't keep going off frame. So macro stands for macronutrients. There's probably more, but there's two main classes of nutrients. You got macronutrients and micronutrients. We will not be covering micronutrients ever. So don't ask.
Why not?
Because it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're gonna cover macronutrients. So before we start this video, I gotta tell you one thing. You're here because you wanna know what the best diet is for losing weight. The best diet for losing weight is whatever diet you decide to do, as long as you stick to it. That's it. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if it's vegan, if it's vegetarian, if it's ovitarian, if it's pescatarian, if it's keto, high protein, paleo, whatever. Whatever diet you see, it'll work, and it'll work for you. You just have to make a commitment, and you need to stick to it.
What if it's a bad diet?
That's where the macros come in. That's a good question. I get this question a lot. I get a lot of, what do you call it when someone fights you on something? Resistance. When I tell them there's no such thing as a bad food. Food is not bad for you. It doesn't matter where it's from. It doesn't matter what the ingredients are. Red 26, red 77, green 18. It doesn't matter. Anything in high doses can be bad for you. However, in moderate to limited doses, there's no such thing as a bad food. Unless the food has actually gone bad, unless you have an allergy to it, unless you have some sort of pre-existing condition that limits you from being able to enjoy specific foods.
So I can eat Big Macs?
You can eat Big Macs. There's actually a pretty awesome video on YouTube about a gentleman who ate Big Macs for lunch every single day. I will link that at some point.
I want to have Big Macs for lunch every single day.
A couple other things I want to cover before we start this. I am giving this as a guideline. This is not an end-all be-all. So if you are truly starting any type of exercise routine, any type of nutrition program, I do recommend seeing a professional, whatever that may be for you, your doctor or your nutritionist or anybody that is a professional that you deal with, or find one that you haven't dealt with and get some advice. It is important to get help when you're doing anything like this. So I'm going to provide a guideline. I hope it helps. This will give you a pretty basic breakdown of what you can do. All right, Jimmy, you can make this a little quicker, but I just want to get all the information out there. I brought Roxy along. She put on her reading glasses. I told her we're doing a video. Apparently she needs to read the motion picture. And we're gonna this is like gonna be like a podcast type deal. I'm gonna give a breakdown, and then if Misfit has questions, I want her to ask. We're gonna pretend like we're doing a macro breakdown for her. So this is what I do.
I've never done a macro
She has
breakdown.
not. So this is gonna be great. This will actually be informational for her, and questions that pop up in her head is probably things that I would cover with people when I do a macro breakdown for them.
Yes.
Now, there are 4 macronutrients we're going to talk about. They are proteins, they are fats, they are carbohydrates, and alcohols. Okay? Alcohol.
We get to booze?
Yes. We do not get to booze. You do get to booze, but we'll get to that. Yes. Alcohol only if you're of legal drinking age. Don't be trying to drink if you're not supposed to be drinking. You shouldn't be drinking anyway. Okay, so let's jump right into this. Now, how do we set up a macro? This is a very basic macro breakdown, and the important thing when you're doing any type of macro diet is you can apply this to any diet that you are on. All the ones I mentioned prior. It doesn't matter. You can apply this. You just have to figure it out and hit your numbers. The first thing I'm going to recommend everybody to do is download MyFitnessPal. I will link that in the description below. She brought her notepad. This is fantastic. I will link that in the description below, because if you're doing macros when you start, it is important to track, because you need to track so you can see what you're eating and not eating. I always tell people before you start trying to hit your numbers, download the app, track your intake for 3 days before changing anything, and compare it to what you set up for yourself and see what you've been doing to yourself for the past probably 5+ years. That is a great place to start. Seeing things as a visual really makes a big difference instead of just thinking, oh yeah, I think I ate enough protein. Oh, I think I don't need too many carbs or fats, and
That's
so on
what
and
I
so
do.
forth. That's what a lot of people do, actually. And when you start tracking stuff, it makes a big difference because you actually see it and you're like, oh my God,
I don't need enough.
I don't need enough this, or I had 8,000 carbohydrates last night, and that's no good.
You actually did?
No. I've been tracking my food like crazy, and I am on a limited intake. This is Misfit's phone.
You did my phone?
No, I got my phone. I'm gonna drop off calculator. So we're gonna do some maths. Now I'm gonna assume you downloaded the app. You can actually put your own numbers into the app, and it's free, and you can follow along just like that. So this is MyFitnessPal, and that should zoom in. Boom. They have some pretty awesome recipes, and they have a lot of information there that is pretty useful. So if you ever get confused or lost, you could look in there. You could always send me a DM as well. But that's the app. Check it out. Pretty sweet stuff. This is the one I use. I love it. We're gonna use 150 as a base. Okay, so if somebody weighs 150 pounds, to find out what your body burns at resting state, which is B.M.R, base metabolic rate. This is you lying on your back doing absolutely nothing for 24 hours, just like this. So we're basing this at 150. You're gonna take, Jiminy, this is where your edits come in.
This is where the fun begins.
I bet so many people just got excited learning that they burn calories doing nothing.
Doing nothing. Everybody does, yeah.
Yay, clapping emojis.
So we're going to base somebody at 150 pounds to start who is trying to lose 30 pounds. All right, quick little insert here before we get into this. So it's really important that you don't try to lose more than 30 pounds at a time, because if you weigh about 240 pounds and you try to put a marker for 120 pounds, the calorie deficit is going to be huge. It's going to be really hard for you to do that. So if you're starting at a higher weight, the maximum number you should put in is a 30-pound weight loss goal. You don't want to exceed that. So if you weigh 240 pounds and you want to get to 120 pounds, what you're going to do is start at 240, set your calorie at 210, and then once you reach 210, you're going to readjust your calories from 210 down to 180, and so on until you get down to 120. You can't create such a huge deficit that is unmanageable. It's really important. It's an insert. I just woke up. I just wanted to make sure you have all the facts, but that is a key point. I should have mentioned that initially, but I'm mentioning it now. We're gonna base somebody at 150 pounds to start who is trying to lose 30 pounds. 30 pounds. So write down 150 and right next to it put 120. So we're going to start at 150 pounds. To find out your base BMR for 150 pounds, this applies to most people. You're going to take 150 divided by 2.2, which is kilograms, and you're going to get your weight in kilograms, which is 68.18 kilograms. Okay? You're going to take that number and you're going to multiply it by 24. Why 24? Because there's 24 hours in a day, and we're basing this on the 24-hour time period of you resting, doing nothing on your back. Breathing, bodily functions, heart rate, brain work, assuming your brain works. So Misfit burns a little less calories.
I missed the joke.
I
was doing math.
Case in point. So at 150 pounds with that equation, your base metabolic rate, BMR, is 1,636 calories every 24 hours. That is an average plus or minus 200. I like averages, so we'll keep it an average of 1,600. Now, if you are active throughout the day, you're gonna add some calories to that. So I'd say an average person burns about 600 to 800 calories a day throughout their daily work, assuming if they're not very active. So we'll keep an average of 800 calories. If we add 800 calories to your 1600 B.M.R, now you have a total calorie burn of about 2500, which is actually exactly 2436. So far, so good? Does that make all sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, you're understanding what's happening? So this is your
maintenance number
at 150 pounds. So if you continue to eat 2,400 calories a day on an average for a sustained period of time, it could be 30, 60, 90 days. As long as you stay within that number, you will maintain at 150 pounds. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This is not taking into account the amount of protein, the amount of carbohydrates, the amount of fats, and the amount of alcohols. Now, why are these important? Because to reach specific goals with your body, you're going to need specific amounts of these macronutrients depending on what goals you're trying to reach. If you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to lose fat, if you're trying to lose muscle and lose fat, which I'm currently doing to increase my running speed. So your goals do matter with this. So whatever diet you choose to do, you have to decide what your goal is. Most people here are trying to lose weight. Most people I talk to are trying to lose weight. So we're going to talk about that specifically. We'll do a separate video about gaining weight in the future. Now, one more key point here I want to make to everybody. If you start a diet to lose weight, you're ultimately going to fail, because your head is always going to be in the space of I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight, and you will fail. Instead, I suggest you shift your mind state to, or mindset to, I keep burping, I don't know why, but thank you. Thanks you. No, baby. So
where's your bib?
My bib. I really suggest you switch your mindset to I want to become more healthy. I want to become better than I was before. That way you won't get too caught up on the numbers. The numbers eventually, inevitably will go down, okay? But we are going to focus on weight loss, so think about that. Also, you should have a vision of what you're trying to accomplish and work towards that vision. Don't just go, I'm on a diet to lose weight. Like I hate when people do that. It's such a big problem. Just have a real goal and have a purpose and intention with what you're doing. It makes a big difference. Your mindset makes a huge difference when you're trying to do this, okay?
And have a donut.
You can have a donut, and we're going to talk about that. Now, sorry, I digress. I went off on a tangent. So we're back. So 150 pounds, you're at about 2,500 calories a day. There's no breakdown of macronutrients. You eat 2,500 calories a day, you're going to maintain that weight, and you can do this forever. And you'll maintain that weight. You probably won't gain any weight as long as you stay within that 2,500. Now, client comes in, or anybody comes in. Misfit tells me, hey, I weigh 150 pounds. I want to get down to 120. How do we do this? Okay, we have to create a deficit. Deficit means less than. So we have to eat less than we burn for a consistent, sustained amount of time. 30 days of deficit is not a sustained period. What's the opposite of deficit?
Increase.
Excess.
Close.
If there's an excess, that's 1 for me, 0 for Oxy. If you've been in an excess for the last 10 to 15 years, which most people have, you can't undo 15 years of damage in 30 days. It's just not, I don't even want to say damage, but you can't facilitate change in 30 days when your body is used to 15 years or 10 years or even 5 or even 2 years of a specific way of eating. So it's going to take time, and you have to be okay with that time. It's going to be one day at a time. I said time twice. And you have to just stick. Now, let's get to 120. So Misfit wants to weigh 120. So what are we going to do? We have to create a B.M.R. based on a 120-pound individual. Okay? She was 150. She wants to be 120. So what do? Do you remember?
Yes.
What do? You have 120 pounds. You're gonna...
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Okay. So you're at 120 pounds. You're going to take 120 pounds. You're going to divide it by 2.2. Why did we divide by 2.2?
Oh, I see. You want to get your... the kilograms.
Kilograms, correct. So we got kilograms now, which is 54.54. What do we do next?
You times it by 24 hours, because that's how many hours are in a day
Correct.
that you're working with.
You multiply it by 24, so that gives you your B.M.R. Your BMR in this case turns into 1,300 calories every 24 hours at 120 pounds. Okay?
Okay. I didn't know. This is very, I wouldn't think that you would calculate the weight of the body that you want to be.
Yes. You have to have a goal. So that's why you set a goal. You have to have a reason for what you're doing. You don't just go, I want to lose 10 pounds. Like, oh, great. Like, you want to lose 10 pounds. How do you lose that 10 pounds? So we're at 1,300 calories now, BMR. Now, we're going to, again, assume that you're an active person, and we're going to add a little less calories. So we're going to add 700 calories of burn a day. So your total calorie intake is going to go to 2,000 calories. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a deficit of how many calories now compared from 120 to 150 every 24 hours?
What?
This is okay.
You're the one with the calculator.
No, yeah, but you have the numbers in front of you. So at 150 pounds, your maintenance number was what?
Oh, 2,500.
Correct. So at 120 pounds, your maintenance number is what?
I didn't write that down.
It's 2,000.
2,000. Oh, I did write that down.
Yeah. So 2,000. So what is the deficit that you are in now? Assuming you weigh 150 pounds, 500. 500, exactly. So again, general rule here is every 3,600 calories is equal to 1 pound. Okay. That is not including water weight. We'll get into that, never. But based on a 500 calorie deficit, every 7 days you'll lose approximately 1 pound. So
hold on.
I'm holding on.
I want to connect the 3,600. 3,600 calories equals 1 pound.
Approximately, yeah.
So if you're at a 500 calorie deficit every day, you should be dropping that amount. What's 500 times 7?
3,500.
Okay, gotcha.
So you should be losing about a pound every week, right?
Yes.
So if you guys are math people and you want to lose 30 pounds, and if you're going to try to lose 30 pounds in a healthy way like this, how long is that going to take? Can you do the math real fast?
30 weeks.
30 weeks. 30 weeks. 30 weeks. That
if
is
you're going ham, maybe 15.
Faster, sure. But 30 weeks. You're looking at least 30 weeks of really following a diet and keeping a sustained amount of calorie deficit. 2,000 calories is plenty of food. It is plenty of food. And we're going to jump into the breakdown of this now. Now, when we get to the macros, this is the meat of it, you guys.
I need a new sheet for the macros.
So we're going to take that 2,000 calories and we're going to write it down. Yep.
Oops, I don't know why I put a dollar sign. Think of your calories as money, people.
That's right. You have money. It's a good way. That's actually a really good way to think about it. This is the amount of money you have to spend every day. 2,000 calories you have to spend every day. Okay? It's a calorie budget. That's what you're doing. It's exactly what you're doing, right? So 2,000 calories. Now, we're trying to lose weight and be able to build some muscle, because the more muscle you have, the faster your body burns calories and your BMR will increase. The only real way to get your BMR is to go get one of those DEXA scans or some type of a medical device. They shock you, this, that. So if you want to get the actual BMR for your body, you can go do that too. I'll link something below. You can check it out. But let's jump into the macros. So for an average person who is trying to drop some weight, put on some muscle, what they're going to have to do is eat as close to their body weight in protein as they can. So their target for protein is going to be 120 grams. 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories. Okay, let's do that math real quick. So you have 120 grams of protein. Your 120 grams of protein, you're going to multiply by 4. That's 480 of your calories that you took in, which leaves you with 1,520 calories of budget for carbohydrates and fat. We're gonna go right into your carbohydrates. You guys, carbohydrates, here's where donut comes in, Rox. It's gonna excite everybody. Here's where all your cake, donut, all the pasta, rice, chips, all the stuff you love to eat comes in. You can eat up to double your weight in carbohydrates.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she wrote down 480, and I told her you can eat up to double. You can eat up to double your weight in carbohydrates.
So 480 times 2 is my daily carbs?
In calories.
In calories.
which is 960.
That's a lot of calories.
Or 240 grams of carbohydrates. Or 240 grams of carbohydrates.
More 240 grams.
This is assuming that you are active, that you're moving around, you're exercising, you're running, you're lifting weights, you're doing something to make your body sweat at least 45 minutes a day, every single day. No, you don't need a rest day.
Now I can have pasta today then, because I worked out.
You did. We did a really hard workout, and you can definitely have pasta. So now we have 960 plus 480, which makes that 1440 calories, which leaves us with 560 calories from fat. Is everybody following along? I know Jimmy will put some nice little graphics so it'll make sense, but you get to have 560 calories from fat. This is where a lot of people make their mistake when they're consuming food. And I'll bet you, if you track your food, you will see what happens is when you track your food, you look and you're like, oh my God, my protein's at like 40 grams, my carbohydrates are at like 350 grams, and my fat's at like 120 grams, and that's all blown out. So if you have fat and carbohydrates, too much, not enough protein, there's too much energy in your body, and most people are not exercising or exerting enough energy to get rid of those carbohydrates and those fats. So what happens is the carbohydrates get stored, they get turned into fat, your body holds on to that fat in case you need to have extra energy. However, you're not exercising enough, so the fat just stays because that's just stored energy that nobody uses. Nobody. Get it?
Nobody.
I made a pun. Let's convert the grams. So
560.
remember I told you guys calories from protein and carbohydrates is 4 calories per gram. Fats are 9 calories per gram. So we're going to take that 560, we're going to divide it by 9, and you're going to be left over with
62.2 grams of fat.
So you have to eat 120 grams of protein, 240 grams of carbohydrates, and
62.2 grams of fat.
that is a basic macro breakdown for somebody who weighs 150 pounds. The starting weight doesn't matter, to be honest, but it's somebody who weighs 150 pounds who's trying to get down to 120. The important thing is to figure out what your target weight is. I don't like focusing on the weight, and I don't like putting people on a scale. It's important to weigh yourself. However, you do need a number to get a basic idea of what you're trying to do. It is important to measure yourself and do this regularly every 30 days. Stick to the diet and follow along. The protein, that is the most important number on your list. You need to get up to, as close to, or past that number, and you can do that on a daily basis. It is totally fine. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? If you have questions, ask them in the comments below. I'll do a follow-up Q&A on this on the live stream, so you guys can let me know what you think, and I'll answer all the questions that you have.
No, the math is simple.
Okay.
The math is simple. I assume people will have questions about how to plan to make sure that you're doing this every day.
Planning is important, but like I said in the beginning, before you start planning for anything, start tracking and see what your numbers look like. Now this is going to get a little bit more complicated, okay? So let's get back to this. So protein is the most important number here. You need to get to right on target, or you can pass the protein on a daily basis. The numbers for your carbohydrates and fats are the maximum that you can get to. You're trying to not get to those numbers or get as close to them without going over them, okay? What happens if your fat grams are at 60 grams and you get to 85 grams? You're over. Are you dead? No. What happens? What do you think happens?
In terms of what? Like in your body?
No. Do you stress out and lose it and then just go nuts and you're like, I'm just gonna eat everything today because I messed up?
No, nuts are high in calories and
nuts
fat.
are high in calories and fat.
You only need this much nuts per day.
And nobody talks about nuts with their hand.
I
like
do.
This. You don't. Okay, so let's say you went over 20 grams in fat. So 20 grams in fat is, let's see if Misfit or you guys remember. So 20 grams in fat is how many calories?
Oh, 9 times 20.
Good. So 180 calories. You want 180 calories over. How do you fix this? Can you think how you would fix this if you're 180 calories over in your fat? How would you fix this, you guys?
If you're 180 calories or do more work.
No, you don't.
Work.
No, you don't do more work. You subtract that calorie count from your.
Oh, your next day.
No, you don't do that either. That's okay. These are good. No, because people. This is what people think, and this is what people answer. It's important. No. Don't. Look, I'm not laughing at you at all. These are good responses because I imagine people watching this are going to say the same thing. No, you just subtract that 180 calories from your carbohydrates. That's it.
In the same day?
In the same day, yeah.
Why?
Because it makes up the difference.
Okay.
But there's a catch, right? Because every gram of fat is 2 grams of carbohydrates. So you're gonna have to take 40 to 50 of your carbohydrates out.
That's more. You have to take out more of the carbohydrates.
You have to take out more of the carbohydrates. So your joy of having the pasta and the rice and all that stuff, it goes away. The less fat you eat, the better for you. Your body does need fat, but most people who are getting into an exercise program or trying to lose some weight or get healthier, they have excess fat. So the less fat you eat, the better for you. So that's why I limit the fat intake to 60. It is a hard number to reach. It's going to take a lot of discipline. It's going to take a lot of work. But you can do it if that's what you want to do. And like I mentioned in the beginning, if your mindset is not there, you're not going to be able to do this. You have to mentally be prepared to suffer a bit. And that's okay. Suffering builds strength.
30 weeks.
30 weeks, I imagine it will not take 30 weeks. Realistically, you will start seeing results faster because you'll start moving better. Your body will feel better. You'll go faster. You burn more calories. You'll get a little bit more muscle. So everything will go a little bit faster. You just have to stick with it. Okay. I think I covered everything.
Did you?
I think so. The last thing I want to talk about is alcohol. No, alcohol. Alcohol is a macronutrient.
What qualifies as a macronutrient? Is that list long?
No, it's just alcohol, protein, fat, carbohydrate.
Oh, okay.
And the micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals inside all of that food. We're never going to talk about that. Just Google the video on YouTube. I'm not going to talk about it.
That sounds like something I would like to learn.
We'll let Roxy learn and talk about it. Here's my problem with alcohol. When you drink alcohol, the first thing your body needs to do is process that alcohol. So what it does, because alcohol is, according to your body, a poison. And what it does is it stops doing everything else it needs to do until the alcohol is processed out of your system. So all the food you consume, everything that goes in your body stops doing everything until it gets rid of the alcohol. Now, your liver processes the alcohol. And you know what else your liver does? Your liver helps process fat in your body. So you're limiting the capability of your liver without getting in too much detail. Alcohol truly slows down your metabolic function, both calorie-wise, both fat processing-wise. I mean, it slows everything down until it's completely out of your system. Then your body takes another day or so to get back to its regularly scheduled programming. Going back to the beginning, if you're on 30-day cycle and you eat well for 5 days or follow your plan for 5-6 days, and on 7th day you drink, you set yourself back so far.
On the 7th day we rest.
On the 7th day you rest. This is correct. Jesus. Or was that God?
Jesus.
Was it? I think it was God. But
Jesus is God.
Son. But
Depends
you gotta
who you
go
ask.
fact. 7 days. So if you gotta string together many days for your body to really start functioning at its optimal level. If you don't do that, it's really going to become a problem, and you're not going to see results. You're going to get frustrated. So if you decide to do something like this, you really got to give yourself a full 30 to 90 days of being selfish. This is what I tell a lot of my clients. You have to learn how to be selfish, not only to the people around you, how to tell them, no, I'm not doing this, but also to yourself. You need to be selfish about the responses you give yourself, the justifications you make about what you want to do. It's okay, it's just one time. You got to stop that. You just got to be a selfish person, both to yourself, to your friends, everybody around you. And people say, well, they'll hate me and this, that. Well, let me tell you something. If you're trying to better yourself and there's people around you who are not supportive of your decision, maybe they shouldn't be around you at all. Because the people who care about you will always support the decisions you make, especially if it's a decision you make trying to better yourself. So keep that in mind while you try this. I know, again, I went off on tangent, but alcohol, going back to alcohol, Jiminy, maybe you can arrange this properly. But alcohol, as it does slow down total ADHD. Wow. Alcohol does, not only does it do that, it also takes away your mental clarity. It inhibits your decision-making processes. You know what else it does? It really interrupts your sleeping. And believe it or not, sleeping is one of the major keys to being not only healthy and fit, but losing weight. It is one of the biggest keys, and people don't realize that. That 8 hours to 9 hours of sleep is really important. Your body sleeps in cycles of 4 hours, so every 2 4-hour cycles, you get 8 hours. That's the optimal level for all body processes. So alcohol messes with that as well. I would remove alcohol from the equation completely until you have yourself set up in a nice routine, and then you can enjoy a libation every once in a while.
What's every once in a while?
Once every 2 weeks, you can have a beer or two. Don't ever get like shit-faced. Don't do that. Getting shit-faced is bad. Don't do that. But you can have a beer or two every couple weeks, maybe even 3, get a nice little buzz.
Why beer and not something else?
Because beer was created by the monks and it is a godly drink. So.
No, it's not.
True story.
Really?
You can Google it.
Beer was created by monks?
Yeah, for fasting. So yeah. Hard liquor is the worst on your body. And you know, I always say this, and people like, alcohol doesn't even taste good.
Have you ever had?
Let's call a spade a spade. If you want
mudslides?
Like, I like mudslides.
Yummy.
They are, but like, you don't need the alcohol in it. They're not yummy because of the alcohol. They're yummy because it's like a chocolate milkshake with chocolate syrup, right?
They taste yummier because not because of the taste of the alcohol, but because you're so trashed. Everything tastes
right. Don't get trashed is my point. But yeah, no, the alcohol really doesn't taste good, and yeah, that's actually truly the response I get from mixed drinks. Well, you know, mixed drinks is just basically juice.
More sugar.
You're just drinking juice. Right? You're drinking juice now. So just drink the juice, skip the alcohol. In my opinion, I'd rather eat pizza or have some ice cream or have some cake or a toaster strudel or something along those lines as opposed to getting drunk. And I always tell people, don't lie to yourself. You know, call a spade a spade. If you want to get drunk, say, or trash, get messed up, just say I want to get messed up. It's like all the people who take THC now and go, oh, my back hurts. Like, shut up. Shut up. You want to get high, get high. Don't tell me your back hurts. It helps with my glaucoma. Great. You can go to the doctor and fix your glaucoma, and you don't need to fix your glaucoma with weed. Smokes a whole blunt. Like, come on. Anyway.
Facts. Preach.
Whatever. If you want to get high, get high. I'm not judging you. Enjoy it. Fine. But don't tell me it's because it helps you this and helps you that. It doesn't help you.
You just want people to be honest with themselves.
Yeah. This is just be honest.
You don't have to do this, but if you choose not to do this, then don't complain. Just be honest and accept the terms of your honesty.
This is true. I think that is it for this particular video.
I really learned a lot.
I'm gonna watch this back and cringe because I'm gonna be like, I totally forgot to talk about this, and next time I need to make a script, and I'm definitely not gonna make a script next time, and the same thing's gonna happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed.
Oh, water.
General intake for water is about, most people say it's 8 cups. 8 cups is not nearly enough for any human.
Don't you do the same thing with your protein? Like however many pounds you weigh, that's how much you should drink?
I do minimum ounces per day you should drink.
Your weight.
Your weight.
Your weight in ounces. That's how much water.
Weight in ounces, and if it's less than a gallon, then go up to 1 gallon.
Round it up.
Let's see here. There's 128 ounces of water in a gallon. So I'd say minimum for majority of people in the world is 128 ounces a day. So if you weigh more and you're exercising a lot more, you should drink more water than a gallon or right at a gallon and just stick to that. You guys, so what we're doing right now is we're gonna fill in Misfit's fitness pal. You can customize this to her goals. So bring your notebook out.
Am I gonna have to do more math?
No math.
Okay.
Pretty simple. So I'm gonna show this as we do this. So when you download MyFitnessPal, it'll give you this little menu. It's gonna say, what is your goal? And then it looks like.
So according to this morning, 134 was my weight.
Right.
I would like to go to 130.
So if you're like 130, we're gonna try to get her down to 130. So let's put in, she wants to lose weight because that's what she wants to do. And it's gonna ask you, how active are you? Misfit is very active and she's female. You're gonna put in your birthday.
They're gonna know my zip code.
Oh no. Same zip code as mine. It's gonna ask you for your height, weight, how much do you weigh, and what your goal weight is. So it does a lot of the work for you already. Misfit is 7'2".
5'5" with brown eyes.
Ooh. Rapper.
My
So
weekly goal.
I always recommend everybody in this screen put 2 pounds per week.
You may want to consider a less aggressive goal to start.
Don't listen to them, but go ahead.
It's like, you're a little ambitious there. Why don't you calm down a bit? My
Nice.
daily net calorie goal is 1,300.
370. Yeah. Well, that's pretty low.
I can't have pasta.
You can't have pasta, but let's well, here's the thing. So this is actually a good point. So for somebody like Misfit, who's 134 pounds and she wants to weigh 130 pounds, your approach to this is going to be a lot more aggressive. She's not trying to lose a lot of weight. She needs to lose a little bit. And when you get into those 3 to 4 to 5 pound weight loss situations, it is very difficult. This is where it gets the hardest. So if you're starting off with a 20 pound weight loss goal, that is a lot easier to achieve. If you have a 4 pound weight loss goal, it is pretty aggressive.
That's a very, very insightful tip or information, because you would think, oh, it's just 4 pounds. That's easy. I gotta lose 20 pounds. That's way harder. Like naturally people would think that.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Losing small amounts of weight is a lot more difficult. Skip all this stuff when it tells you in the beginning. What you're gonna do now, on the bottom right side of the MyFitnessPal app, on the corner, there's 3 buttons. Like there's 3 dots. You're gonna press on those 3 dots. Click. Now from those options, if you go to the
7th one down,
I believe it says goals. Booty goals. It's going to show all the things you inputted before. And then if you go into the nutrition goals section of it, there's going to be a part that says calories, carbs, proteins, and fat goals. You're going to click on that. This is where you manipulate. We are going to change Misfit's numbers. So for a 130 pound person, we're going to divide it by 2.2 equals 59 times 24 is 1418. Misfit is pretty active, so we're going to add about 300 calories for her. So Misfit's goal is 1,700 calories a day. So she's going to take what MyFitnessPal told her and she's going to change it. So now it'll adjust her numbers and you're going to see that on the screen. Now we have to manipulate her carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. How many grams of protein should you be having? This will help you a lot here.
130 grams.
Correct. So let's change the protein numbers. So go in there, it's going to give you numbers. If you go premium, you can put exact numbers. You don't need to do that. You can use these percentages here to get as close to your numbers as you can possibly. So let's take her protein level up. Is at 20% right now. We're going to take that up to 30%. And that should be pretty close to her protein target, correct? Mm-hmm. And I told her she can have double that in carbohydrates. Now, by looking at these numbers, it is pretty unreasonable at this level. This would be too aggressive for her. So if you do something like this and your fat calories turn out to be 38 grams, you can comfortably eat up to 60 grams of fat a day. Doesn't matter. So I'm gonna have her switch that back up so it goes to 60 grams. You can go even higher a little bit, 35%. That's pretty good. We're gonna drop her carbs down to, so she can have, based on what we just did, Misfit can have 150 grams of carbohydrates, 128 grams of protein, and 66 grams of fat every day, and she will drop weight down to 130 pounds. Before she actually starts following this program, all she needs to do is track for 3 days and see what her diet looked like prior to doing this, and then try to hit the numbers.
It's not gonna be good.
It's not going to be good. Most people is not. And most people, when you do this, you'll see your carbohydrates and fat are way higher than you think, and your protein's way lower than you think. Besides for that, I think that covers pretty much everything. If you guys do have any questions, feel free, hit it in the comments below. I will schedule a Q&A after this video goes up, so you guys can ask more specific questions. The next video that will come up with this is how to incorporate intermittent fasting with your macros, because that is the way to go, and I'll explain that. I know people have been asking for that.
Alex is taking us to school.
School.
And I am here for it. This is good information.
Look out for the Q&A. Jimmy, good luck with this. I know it's kind of all over the place. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. We will be back. Hybrid 1, we are out.
Class is dismissed.
Okay, I'm gonna still
Why are you holding your breath? You think it's gonna bring you back?
It's like hiccups. I'm trying to remember.
What could it possibly be?